Another great case for, many people think you were your former prosecutor, what's the connection now? One of the things I spent my days doing was combating fraud, waste, and abuse. And I think that there are a lot of great use cases right now with this technology to combat fraud, waste, and abuse. I'll give you two examples and why you wouldn't just want a database. One is in the case of Haiti, for example, when the earthquake hit Haiti, most all land registry records were lost, permanently lost. And you had competing claims as to who owned what land. That's why you see governments now like Honduras, the Republic of Georgia, Estonia now are putting land registry records. Dubai. Also for humanitarian aid tracking, also at the Haiti example, $1 billion was raised by the Red Cross for aid. 500 million of it went missing. So fully half of it went missing. To be able to track this on a blockchain, distributed, open to the public is really key, but just make no mistake.
But you've got to be able to move those files onto the blockchain. It means they have to be digital to begin with.
That's right.
Someone's got to organize all that.
That's correct.
Is there a rubric you guys use and this audience can use to sort of, when you're looking at someone or hearing someone describe a blockchain project, figure out, oh, that's something that could practically happen in the near future, and oh no, that's just something that doesn't work at all and they've just added blockchain to it, or it's something that already works and they've just added the word blockchain to it?
Anytime you want something that's not centralized, right, that's a real honeypot for attack for cyber criminals, it's great to be decentralized. So that's one thing. Not all things need to be decentralized. So that's one thing that I would always look to.
And then where you've got a spaghetti-like process flow, complex supply chains are fantastic for blockchain. Global shipping, for example, they think about 15% of the cost of shipping is on records which are exchanged between parties. So that's a great example. And then where you've actually got an ecosystem that can be convened and a group of people that need to work together, where the financial inclusion that you can get is pretty amazing. To Katie's point, we're working with a microfinance organization in Kenya where they can we're doing real-time credit modeling for issuance of loans on a blockchain. So it's a tiny little network of 200 kiosk owners, and we're able to help them receive loans.
You asked, I think, the right question, and I think the question I would encourage the investors and even the audience to think about, ask the question, why wouldn't a database work better? There are a lot of examples where I hear, and I'm sure we all hear, a pitch from somebody like, well, blockchain this, blockchain that. And I think, you know what? A database is a very efficient technology, and you should use a database. Now, there are exceptions to that. There are examples where I think blockchain is transformative. As I said earlier, I think it is a big bang moment for a next generation platform of capabilities. But there's no doubt that the hype and reality is out of balance right now.
What do we think about the blockchain beer vending machine? It's a real thing. I always confuse civil and civic. It's civil?
It's
civic. Sorry.
Civic, yeah.
Look, I think there's a couple of problems with that.
This is something, if you guys haven't seen it, it exists. It was in New York City. You can use blockchain to buy beer from a vending machine.
Look, Bitcoin today, I've made the joke that people talk about using Bitcoin to buy coffee. The average Bitcoin transaction can take as much as 20 minutes to complete a transaction. But if you're going to use Bitcoin for that transaction, it's going to take a long time. Your coffee might get cold, and the transaction costs are going to double the price of your coffee. So I think we may come to find that Bitcoin is kind of the Napster of digital assets. It showed us what's possible. It showed us that, holy cow, this is transformative technology. But Spotify and iTunes and Pandora ruled the day because they actually engaged with the ecosystem. They engaged with regulators to solve a real problem.
Well,
by the way, I talked to the CEO of the beer vending.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Civic. It's a long day already. And his argument, look, this actually does solve a real problem. Being able to have an ID and be able to monitor how much beer you've consumed, and this way you can sell beer without having to have a human being involved. It's a real thing. And to me, it seems like it's a pretty good Rorschach test. Like, you either look at that and laugh and go, this is excess. You go, this is really interesting, and it's a novel way of approaching a problem maybe you didn't believe you had.
Yeah, I think that the thing to think about, just going back to the point about, if you're thinking about how will the world unfold, even though it's early days, is the idea that it becomes a payment for the most simple things that we buy every day, like beer or, washing powder. That's a way out. But I do think this point around the blockchain will allow you to track and make transparent things that you couldn't before. Insurance contracts, art, diamonds. When the diamonds on blockchains, we can do the provenance of entire diamond rings or diamond jewelry. Where you need provenance and transparency and where you have middlemen in supply chain, those are ripe. And to the point that's underlying all of this, the pain of changing out data and uploading data or reversing out of systems is mitigated by the speed that you will get from using a blockchain and the reduction in terms of the actual digital cost and document cost. And then finally, once you have that data together, we're seeing this on the food trust chain, you can do all sorts of analytics and artificial intelligence insight on the blockchain, such as optimizing supply chain. So those, I think, will be the business cases where it has inherent value, not just as a currency.